you're a bit different to some of the writers that we've spoken to so far, in that you were a therapist first and a writer second. So what made you
Yeah.
decide to write your books?
Well, it actually spurred from an actual conversation that I was having with one of my clients, and he was the one who encouraged me to share what I've been discussing with people in terms of the fact that people tend to open up when they're receiving a treatment, and it can vary from the very mundane all the way up to meaning of life and philosophical topics. So, yeah, that was the main reason why I wanted to start that book. But as a passion of mine, I've been writing for several years.
Yeah.
I mean, even as a kid, I was dreaming about becoming a writer. It's just that, life takes you around in different ways, in terms of you stumble across different experiences. So I wanted to explore this career as a therapist first, to really, make it work, and just getting to, I don't know, to test myself, learn a new skill, and then that served as a launchpad for the book. So I'm going through life in a pretty much roundabout way. I just stumble across things without any precise trajectory. Well, I know so many people that've got very clear ideas. They've got their 5-year, 10-year, 20-year plan, and I admire them, but I'm not one of them.
Yeah. And so when you were writing the book as well, obviously, like you said, it's mainly based on kind of conversations you've had with your clients. How difficult was it to kind of keep it all anonymous? Because I noticed you did that very well. You wouldn't know who had said what, but was it a challenge to write like that?
Well, yes. Also because you end up editing out more than putting material in. Yeah. So, and especially when I talk to people that are considering reading the book, they are more interested in juicy gossip, which is exactly what I did not include in the book, because you can read a trashy novel, that's fine, be my guest, entertain yourself, but that was not the purpose of the book. So it was more about distilling all these conversations, and maybe even combine a few case studies together so that you can anonymize further. So you build extra layers of anonymity. Excuse me. So yeah, as I said, it was more about cutting things out than putting the material in, because the main purpose was to try and draw some conclusions. So maybe spot any lessons that could be drawn from these conversations and case studies.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so in terms of, obviously, you're a health writer as well, and you've done a lot of sort of journalistic pieces. How do you think, writing for the Huffington Post and that kind of thing has helped you to prepare for writing a book?
It's pretty much a natural continuation. So, in a way, it's like, say you're, well, for example, I like walking, and so you would go for a little walk, it could be just for exercise, etc. And then the same walk, you can use the same technique, turn it into a longer session, and you can take it anywhere. So you can go trekking, you can do marathons, whatever. So it's a matter of using that experience and just giving it a different form and shape. So it was just a natural progression from writing shorter pieces to writing a whole book. But it was not plain sailing, because I did struggle with word count and structure, and it never felt it was long enough. So because you're taking, as I said, material out, but you still need to put some content in, and the content had to be what's the word I'm looking for? It's not threatening. It had to be, yeah, it's the issue of anonymity. I can't speak today. Sorry, anonymity. Sorry. So it was the struggle was more in terms of being diplomatic and getting the right balance in the content. But in terms of writing in general, there wasn't any issue with that. Everything was pretty smooth, apart from the struggle of getting enough pages written down. Yeah.
And one thing, again, you mentioned it slightly earlier in terms of the kind of insights in the book range from sort of the more mundane to the really kind of deep and philosophical.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, what's your favourite of all of the insights that you've kind of sort of gleaned over the years?
Well, because I've been dealing with people from different social backgrounds and different even income levels.
Yeah.
So you had the jet setters all the way to people with very normal jobs and, holding a family, etc. The struggles and triumphs are pretty much similar because what was quite surprising was that we all make assumptions on people before we get to know them properly. And once you get to know them, you realize, oh, wow, you're just the same as me. The circumstances change. So, for example, with the jet setters, the first emotion that is triggered is envy. So you want their lifestyle, you wish you could go on their exotic holidays, etc. But when they speak to you, they tell you about their frustrations, their maybe cases of self-doubt, sometimes depression. So it's a whole range of emotions, it's a whole range of situations. And the human element to me is fascinating because we are a species, and as such, we all stem from the same genetic makeup, in the sense that, we are human beings that function in the same way. Our thought processes are quite similar. And yes, social and cultural backgrounds can change. They can shape the way we behave. But in the end, this is going to sound corny, but we're all in this together. So, people will experience pain. Like, for example, having £5 million in the bank will not make you immune from pain. To give an example. And that was a big lesson for me because, again, we make assumptions, especially if you think about our current obsession with celebrities, and we think that their life is better than ours, and it's not. And there's a lot of boredom, for example, that we don't take into account. It's not always exciting to live, a jet-setting lifestyle, etc.
And in terms of, I think this is your second book, isn't it? You wrote one about debt-related stress as well.
Yeah, I did,
And I was just wondering, what's kind of next for you? Are you planning a third, or again, are you just going to take it as it comes?
I'm in the process of writing my third one, and again, it's based on conversations, but of a different type. Many people I speak to are obsessed with losing weight. So the next one will be about achieving weight loss, but in a more natural way, because just like we are obsessed with celebrities and their figures, etc., we are also obsessed with quick fixes, quick results, and funny diets. So I'm just trying to pare everything down and take everything to the essence and say, well, this is like a natural way to keep healthy. So again, taking a whole holistic approach to weight loss, instead of saying, you need to get these results by week 7 and those results by week 8.
And when are you hoping for that to be out?
Well, in an ideal world, I would like to get that out in January next year, because people will be making New Year's resolutions. But I'm not sure if we'll be ready by then. That's the plan, and then we'll see how things pan out. Mm-hmm.
Cool. And one question we ask everyone as well is, obviously we're a book blog. What was the last book that you read, and what did you think of it?
I'm actually reading like 3 or 4 books in one go, and I don't finish them, so it's a bit of a confusing situation. But just to give you the simple answer is Arianna Huffington's Thrive, and I know that I'm biased because I write for the Huffington Post, but I was fascinated by the reviews, and she did a book tour as well. And her presentations, which I didn't manage to attend in person, but I saw online, are always really hilarious and charming. Yeah.
Well, she's a fascinating woman as well. I didn't know she'd written a book, so I'll have to look into that myself.
Oh, more than one, yeah. I can't remember how many, but she started really young, in her 20s. Yeah. Writing. Mm-hmm.
Mind you, I suppose with the site she founded, it doesn't surprise you, does it? So it's like you were saying as well. When kind of if you write, you kind of can't help it, can you? So
yeah, and I haven't read proper fiction in a long while. I'm always drawn to non-fiction. So if you were to ask me about non-fiction, for the life of me, I couldn't even remember, which is really bad. But yeah, currently I'm reading a lot of non-fiction. Alongside that, I'm also reading Dale Carnegie's How to Stop Worrying, which is always helpful.
Yeah. Cool. And one last question I just wanted to end on as well.
Yeah, sure.
So just in terms of, obviously, from your professional viewpoint, what would be your top tips for sort of looking after your mind and your body at home, sort of without the help of a professional?
So, yeah, if you didn't have the budget or the time to go and see a professional, I would say, let me think if I can put it in like bullet points for you. The first thing will be, well, you can bullet point the list to your heart's content, but yeah, I'm just trying to take a mental picture of like top tips. The first thing for sure would be to take up meditation. So you can search for different free online resources. You just type up, free online meditations, and then say you can set aside between 5 and 20 minutes in the day to calm down, and it's almost like tuning out the noise in your brain that is a bit distracting and can also cause anxiety and stress. Then secondly, well, I'm a big fan of walking, so in an ideal world, if you could go for a walk every day, again, just like meditation, it helps you to clear your mind. And thirdly, I know that, cooking is time consuming, but I've noticed that, when people complain that they put on weight, and then weight is also related to other problems like cholesterol, heart disease, etc. When they complain about weight, I always find out that they tend to rely on ready meals or takeouts. Yeah. And I know it's boring, but making your own meals from scratch, choosing the right ingredients is the key to like a long and healthy life, because you've got control over what you're eating, but also, when you're not relying on somebody else cooking the food for you, it makes you more aware of your body and how it works, because sometimes we have we're a little bit too disconnected from our food, and it's almost robotic the way we eat, because maybe we eat watching telly or we eat by the computer. So we need to remember that it's a natural process and the body needs the fuel. So I would say that's probably the third point to consider to have a healthy lifestyle.